My name is Sheila Molony, and I'm a professor of nursing at Quinnipiac University, and I'm a gerontological nurse practitioner, which means I love working with older adults. And this program is the Aging Mastery Program, and today we're going to be talking about sleep. A survey that was done by the National Sleep Foundation suggested that around 30 to 39% of older adults report having some difficulty with sleep. But interestingly, they also report that they have higher rates of feeling rested during the day than some younger adults do. So even though we might be waking up more frequently, having a little bit more difficulty getting to sleep or staying asleep throughout the whole night, we may still feel well rested the next day. And that's really the key, is the quality of the sleep, not necessarily the quantity, although quantity is important. The next day, if we feel fatigued, tired, low in energy, or we're having difficulty concentrating, or we're feeling irritable, that may be an indication that we did not get restful sleep. So 7 to 9 hours of sleep on average is a good amount, although it's individual, and we like to base it on how well rested folks are feeling in the morning. There are some changes in how we sleep as we age. So we might take a little bit longer to fall asleep, and commonly we have more awakenings during the night, some of which we will recognize. We might even have to get up out of bed, maybe use the bathroom, some of which we may not even realize that we're having minor awakenings during the night. So those issues are common with aging. One of the things that is important is that the bedroom, for example, is kept as a place for sleep. Sleep and sex are two things that we want to reserve the bedroom for. But a lot of us get into habits of watching television or using apps on our computer. And sometimes if we're having trouble sleeping and we make a change in some of those habits, we start to get our body and our minds associating the bedroom and the bed with sleep. That can be a very helpful strategy. Another thing that we can do is when we do wake up during the night is not to be worried about that. That's a normal occurrence. And a lot of times if we wake up during the night and we're staring at the clock, our anxiety level, our worry goes up. And instead of doing that, we want to maybe turn the clocks away, not be focused on the clock per se. If we've been trying to fall back asleep for more than 15 to 30 minutes, we may want to get up, listen to some soft music, do a little bit of light reading, but we don't want to turn on bright lights. We find that bright lights, whether it's from the television, the computer screen, or overhead lights, can interfere with the normal rhythms of sleep, that circadian rhythm. Our bodies have a natural rhythm, and it responds to sunlight. We have a hormone called melatonin that you may have heard of, naturally occurring in our bodies, in our brains. And it's meant to respond to the light and dark so that we go to bed and sleep as the sun is setting, and we're ready to wake up when the sun is rising. But sometimes those rhythms get a little bit out of sync. So what happens with some older adults is they'll have a shift in that rhythm. So they start to get sleepy much earlier in the day than usual, and then wake up very, very early in the morning. And so that's something that can be changed with some attention to sleep and sleep patterns. Loneliness is actually a risk factor for insomnia. And then insomnia increases your risk for depression and anxiety. So it's a circular pattern. And so increasing your socialization, getting out and being with other people, is a wonderful way to begin to interrupt that. Whenever you increase your pleasant activities during the day, you're likely to increase your pleasant sleep at night. And so that includes social activity and physical activity. In the social activity, it could be going to your local senior center, joining a club, taking an adult education course, seeing what's offered at the YMCA or YWCA that's in your community if you have one. There are any opportunity that you can take to get out and be with other people. Sharing a meal, for example, getting together for a snack or coffee. Those are great opportunities to decrease loneliness a bit. Most of us don't think about bedtime rituals after we're done raising our children. We know that they're good for children, right? Reading a bedtime story, etc., maybe having a little snack. But those are also good for us as we age and we want to have improved quality of sleep. So having a ritual where we wind down a little bit, and again, it may be a little bit of reading, being aware of trying to stay away from some of the bright lights. It may be soft music, it may be meditation, the way we wash our face and we take care of ourselves in our nighttime ritual. But having that same routine each night, again, our bodies begin to associate that with sleep. Maybe not right away, but over a few weeks, they will begin to associate that with, oh, it's time to go to sleep now. A sleep diary is very important. If you find that you are having difficulty sleeping, you probably are going to want to check with a healthcare professional to talk about your sleep, first of all, because there are many reversible conditions or medications that can interfere with sleep. But before you do that, you may want to keep a sleep diary, and just by keeping that diary, you may come to learn things about your sleep pattern that you were not aware of. There are some forms that you can download online for the sleep diary. You want to jot down what time you go to bed, what time you wake up, approximately how many hours you slept during the night, the number of times that you woke up. You may also want to jot down any symptoms that you're having. Did you have some pain during the night, or did you have any kind of trouble with distress, stomach distress, or difficulty breathing? That would be important to write down as well. What is interesting is that alcohol and sleep aids, sleep medications, actually can harm sleep patterns and normal sleep rhythms, and not only be used as sleep aids. So for example, alcohol may help you to get to sleep at the beginning of the night. It may make you sleepy, but it actually interferes with the healthy sleep later on and is more likely to cause a disturbance in sleep. And with other prescription sleep medications, they can be useful for short-term conditions. If you're having a medical procedure or you're going through something extraordinary for short-term insomnia, those can be helpful. But when they're used in the long term, our bodies develop a tolerance for those, and we end up needing higher and higher dosages. And research studies have shown that many of those sleep medications increase risk for falls. So they're particularly a problem for older adults because of that risk. So it's important to speak with a healthcare professional about those and to really take a look at alcohol intake and include that on the sleep diary if you're using any of that during the day or in the evening. Over-the-counter medications can also be important to think about. So there is Tylenol PM, there's Unisom, there's a lot of over-the-counter medications that make promises that they'll help you with your sleep. Many of those medications actually can be more of a problem for older adults. They contain diphenhydramine or Benadryl. Not only does that give us a dry mouth, but sometimes it can interfere with some of the brain health as well. So again, it's important to talk with a pharmacist or talk with your healthcare professional if you're thinking of using those medications. One person who comes to mind who was having difficulty sleeping was waking up every morning at 3 o'clock in the morning. He was irritable and tired all day, and it was really very uncomfortable and distressing. And as we worked together and we did more investigation, it really turned out that he was experiencing a rather severe depression. He had had some recent occurrences in his life, and he was quite depressed. And depression is a common contributor to sleep disturbance. And so that's sort of how we found out about it, because he didn't come to see me saying, gee, I feel depressed. He came to see me with difficulty sleeping. And once that depression was adequately treated and he recovered from that, his sleep improved as well. For example, there is sleep disordered breathing, or sleep apnea you may have heard of, and that can be a contributor to difficulty with sleep. There's something called restless leg syndrome. That's another potential contributor to sleep problems, and those need to be diagnosed by a healthcare professional. And again, a thorough review of the medications, assessment for depression, anxiety, and so forth, to really sort all of that out and make sure that it isn't a reversible condition. Some individuals have heart disease, difficulty breathing, or gastrointestinal or stomach problems that may be interfering with sleep. And that may be something that the healthcare professional can help with. If a power nap is working for you, if you take short naps during the day, then by all means continue to do that, and you're still getting your restful sleep and you're feeling well rested. It's not a problem. And some people find that a nap anywhere from 15 to maybe 45 minutes, somewhere in that range, is an effective strategy. And a short nap in a comfortable place earlier in the afternoon, though. Again, you don't want to do that really late in the evening when it might interfere with a restful sleep. I want to thank you so much for spending this time with me, learning a little bit more about sleep, and I hope you have a wonderful night's rest. Bye-bye.